is defined in the View Controller's view. In this chapter, you take a closer look at the scene managed by Hello World View Controller and learn how to adjust the background color of its view. When an app starts up, the main storyboard file is loaded, and the initial View Controller is instantiated. The initial View Controller manages the first scene that users see when they open the app. Because the single view template provides only one view controller, it's automatically set to be the initial view controller. You can verify the status of the view controller and find out other things about it by using the Xcode inspector. If necessary, click Main Storyboard in the Project Navigator to display the scene on the canvas. In the Outline view, select Hello World View Controller. It's listed below First Responder. Your workspace window should look something like this. Notice that the scene and the scene dock are both outlined in blue, and the View Controller object is selected in the scene dock. If necessary, click the rightmost View button in the toolbar to display the Utilities area at the right side of the window, or choose View Utilities Show Utilities. Click the Attributes Inspector button in the Utilities area to open the Attributes Inspector. The Attributes Inspector button is the fourth button from the left in the Inspector selector bar at the top of the Utilities area. With the Attributes Inspector open, your workspace window should look something like this. You might have to resize the window to see everything. In the View Controller section of the Attributes Inspector, you can see that the Initial Scene option is selected. Note that if you deselect this option, the Initial Scene indicator disappears from the canvas. For this tutorial, make sure the Initial Scene option remains selected. Earlier in the tutorial, you learned that a view provides the white background that you saw when you ran the app in Simulator. To make sure that your app is working correctly, you can set the background color of the view to something other than white, and verify that the new color is displayed by again running the app in Simulator. Before you change the background of the view, make sure that the storyboard is still open on the canvas. If necessary, click Main Storyboard in the Project Navigator to open the storyboard on the canvas. In the Outline view, click the disclosure triangle next to Hello World View Controller, if it's not already open, and select View. Xcode highlights the view area on the canvas. Click the Attributes button in the Inspector selector bar at the top of the Utilities area to open the Attributes Inspector if it's not already open. In the Attributes Inspector, click the white rectangle in the background pop-up menu to open the Colors window. The rectangle displays the current color of the item's background. The background pop-up menu looks like this. If instead of clicking the white rectangle, you click Default and open the pop-up menu, choose Other from the menu that appears. In the Colors window, select a color other than white. Your workspace window and the Colors window should look something like this. Note that, because Xcode highlights the view, when you select it, the color on the canvas might look different from the color in the Colors window. Close the Colors window. Click the Run button or choose Product Run to test your app in Simulator. Make sure the Scheme pop-up menu in the Xcode toolbar still displays Hello World iPhone 5.0 Simulator. You should see something like this. Before you continue with the tutorial, restore the view's background color to white. To restore the view's background color, in the Attributes Inspector, open the Background pop-up menu by clicking the arrows. Note that the rectangle in the background pop-up menu has changed to display the color you chose in the Colors window. If you click the colored rectangle instead of the arrows, the Colors window reopens. Because you want to reuse the view's original background color, it's easier to choose it from the background menu than it is to find it in the Colors window. In the background pop-up menu, choose the white square listed in the Recently Used Colors section of the menu. Click the Run button to compile and run your app, and to save your changes. After you've verified that your app again displays a white background, quit Simulator. In this chapter, you inspected the scene and changed and restored the background color of the view. In the next chapter, you add to the view the text field, label, and button that allow users to interact with your app. Xcode provides a library of objects that you can add to a storyboard file. Some of these are user interface elements that belong in a view, such as buttons and text fields. Others are higher-level objects, such as view controllers and gesture recognizers. The Hello World view controller scene already contains a view. Now you need to add a button, a label, and a text field. Then, you make connections between these elements and the view controller class so that the elements provide the behavior you want. You add user interface elements by dragging them from the object library to a view on the canvas. After the UI elements are in the view, you can move and resize them as appropriate. If necessary, select Main Storyboard in the Project Navigator to display the Hello World view controller scene on the canvas. If necessary, open the Object Library. The Object Library appears at the bottom of the Utilities area. If you don't see the Object Library, you can click its button, which is the third button from the left in the Library selector bar. In the Object Library, choose Controls from the Objects pop-up menu. Xcode displays a list of controls below the pop-up menu. The list displays each control's name and appearance, and a short description of its function. One at a time, drag a text field, a round rec button, and a label from the list, and drop each of them onto the view. In the view, drag the text field so that it's near the upper left corner of the view. As you move the text field, or any UI element, blue lines, called alignment guides, appear that help you align the item with the center and edges of the view. Field when you can see the view's left and upper alignment guides, as shown here. In the view, prepare to resize the text field. You resize a UI element by dragging its resize handles, which are small white squares that can appear on the element's borders. In general, you reveal an element's resize handles by selecting it on the canvas or in the outline view. In this case, the text field should already be selected because you just stopped dragging it. If your text field looks like the one below, you're ready to resize it. If it doesn't, select it on the canvas or in the outline view. Drag the text field's right resize handle until the view's rightmost alignment guide appears. Stop resizing the text field when you see something like this. With the text field still selected, open the Attributes Inspector, if necessary. In the placeholder field near the top of the text field Attributes Inspector, enter the phrase "your name." As its name suggests, the placeholder field provides the light gray text that helps users understand the type of information they can enter in the text field. In the running app, the placeholder text disappears as soon as the user taps inside the text field. Still in the text field Attributes Inspector, click the middle alignment button to center the text field's text. After you enter the placeholder text and change the alignment setting, the text field Attributes Inspector should look something like this. In the view, drag the label so that it's below the text field and its left side is aligned with the left side of the text field. Drag the label's right resize handle until the label is the same width as the text field. A label has more resize handles than a text field because you can adjust both the height and the width of a label. You can adjust only the width of a text field. You don't want to change the height of the label, so be sure to avoid dragging one of the resize handles in the label's corners. Instead, drag the resize handle that's in the middle of the label's right side. In the Label Attributes Inspector, click the middle alignment button to center the text you'll display in the label. Drag the button so that it's near the bottom of the view and centered horizontally. On the canvas, double-click the button and enter the text "Hello." When you double-click the button in the view, and before you enter the text, you should see something like this. After you add the text field, label, and button UI elements, and make the recommended layout changes, your project should look similar to this. There are a few other changes you can make to the text field so that it behaves as users expect. First, because users will be entering their names, you can ensure that iOS suggests capitalization for each word they type. Second, you can make sure that the keyboard associated with the text field is configured for entering names rather than numbers. For example,